Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy D Davis here with the Sports Talking Bull Stuff Report. Um, Checking in. Know it's a lot been going on out in the world, in the sports world, like in the real world, I guess. Um, I've been seeing Hulk Hogan at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, and he's been hulking up. I don't know what happened. I felt like I was talking. Hopefully we back. Hopefully we back. Uh D Davis here. Sports talking bull stuff. Talking about a whole lot of stuff. Talking about Hogan at the DNC, the US men's almost getting stunned by South Sudan. Uh WNBA All-Star game. That was very interesting. I'm gonna start with that because I didn't expect to be talking about the WNBA All-Star game. But I was watching the highlights today. It was like a 10, 15-minute video of the All Star, of the highlights of the All Star game. And it seemed like it was a exciting, competitive game. It was the All Stars of the WNBA against the U.S. women's team. It was very interesting. But yeah, it was a very competitive game, and I wanted to talk about that. Not too much because of the competitiveness of the WNBA versus the U.S. women's team, is because their All Star game was actually competitive compared to the NBA All Star game, which is dog shit. And this is someone who, from coming from someone who looked forward to the All Star game, All Star weekend, because this was the the best players in the game, players who been making the most noise in the during the first half of the season. You want to see the guys from the East and West go at it, and over the last couple years, man, that competitiveness that was in the NBA All Star game hasn't been. And my friends thought I was just being old school and all this stuff because I said a couple years ago when Steph Curry dropped to the ground to let Giannis dunk over him, he just gave up, gave up on the play. I was like, man, this shit over. Now I've been proven right over the last couple years. Whereas they talking about now they have to entice the players to to play well or to play with effort, with competitive drive in the All Star game, which seems completely bad shit to me because these are already millionaires, supposedly at the height of the basketball world, and just wanting to prove uh, my greatness, or show my talents to the other players, my peers, in that higher echelon of NBA talent, NBA greatness, and you got to be coaxed, bribed into not even giving 100% effort. Take 85. That's all we asking. We don't want you to get hurt in an exhibition game, but play some defense, little bit defense. That's all that uh, NBA fans, basketball fans, casual fans want to see. Because as a fan, you turn on the TV and the product doesn't look how it looked 15 years ago, 10 years ago. You're like, oh, what's going on here? And you may not want to continue to watch the game, especially an NBA All Star game where it looks bad now. Those NBA All Star games, I feel there's more defense played in Drew League games. And that's saying a lot because everybody just going one on one, throwing up 20 foot, 25 5 feet shots. And the ratings they show. People have checked out. Ratings over the last couple years have shown that the casual fan has checked out of the NBA. I think for a number of reasons, but the most glaring reason being the lack of competitiveness from the players, best players in the game, all NBA selection team players. When they're not bringing it, when the lights are at their brightest, it's going to show. The fans they not going to show. So, but yeah, it was a great effort by the WNBA players and the U.S. Olympic team. I just want to see competitive basketball, at the highest levels. That's all I ask. That Ogolier, I don't know her name, but she was killing it. Shout out to her. Speaking of the men's team, this is a great transition because most of the players on the Olympic men's team are the same players on the All-Star teams that I've been talking about. So, I saw the highlights. It's hard for me to watch a game. I'll be doing so much other stuff. I read, I do other stuff. I got time to be watching these games. So I catch the highlights, see what's going on for the most part, and it looked like it was in a struggle. That men's team was in a struggle against South Sudan, and I try to go by how many NBA players are on the different teams for the world or different countries and everything. And I'm like, it's not a lot of NBA players on that South Sudan team. I said on the last video that these foreigners, these immigrants, is going to be taking all these black jobs, and I'm in jest when I'm saying this, black jobs, because the NBA is certainly not a league only for quote unquote black players. But it's a funny thing to say. I think you may not find it as humorous as I am, but what I'm trying to say is it's going to be a bunch of people born outside of the U.S. who's going to be dominating basketball, and we're seeing it start right now with the Giannis's, the Lucas, the Jokic, dude in Philly, Embiid. You got all these dudes coming from Canada. I didn't realize there was that many Canadian players in the NBA, but you got dudes outside of Canada that's coming. So, I mean, I guess the U.S. in basketball is going the way of the U.S. and everything else, where we're not going to be the dominant force, we're not going to be the dominant power in basketball. And I saw a couple weeks ago, Japan beat the brakes off of the U.S. in football, not soccer, football. I didn't even think these people played football in these other countries, but this is a warning sign to people. The last 50 to 75 to 100 years of U.S. domination and the things that we find traditional, the things that we love, the sports that we love, that's over. Say goodbye to that. These foreigners, they have arrived. I ain't gonna say they coming. They have arrived. Better work ethic. Better work ethic. Period. I'm sure their parents aren't coddling them and complaining to their coaches that, nah, he need to play more because A, B, and C. That ain't really true. I'm sure that's not happening. So players are getting critiqued. They're getting challenged. That's not what is happening in the U.S. I talked about this in probably my first video, but the AAAU and all of these tournaments and everything, these Nike tournaments, Adidas tournaments, and Puma tournaments, and whatever tournaments they got out here, it has watered down the competitiveness of the U.S. athlete. Everything has been watered down. And because everything has been watered down, what we have now is players like Steph Curry hitting the ground because they don't want to take a charge or play defense or even look like they're playing defense. I know he was joking and everything, but you don't joke like that at the highest stage. No, that's not how you joke. That's not. Everything has become too jokey, and I listen to stories from the old players, the Birds, the Magics, the Jordans, the Isaiahs, uh, even KG and Paul Pierce and their show, and the different players. As a player, damn near everybody got a podcast now. All the former players got podcasts, or a lot of the former players got podcasts, and they talk about what they had to do to get to the NBA. And once they got into the NBA, how much of a man's league it was in those days. And I don't necessarily think that the NBA today is a grown-ass man's league. I don't think so. Especially, I see the dude that Philadelphia drafted. I don't know his name, but look out who Philly drafted and what's going on there. So, we're seeing this as a society. I got a mic too. We're seeing this as a society where our dominance in certain things, we're not as dominant as we once were. And the reason we're not as dominant as we once were is because the work ethic that people had in this country is not what it once was. The competitive drive and athletes and individuals, across the spectrum outside of the sports world, hopefully, everything is registering. I'm away from the mic, but the competitive drive, the wanting to be on the top of the mountain, that's not there as it once was. And we got a lot of the buddy system, especially in the NBA, because right now all these players, they play along each other from early. Like a lot of these players, especially like right now, the players getting drafted into the league today, they all played with each other for the last 10 years. They've been all in the same camps, been on the same teams. So there's a friendship or a bond that comes out of that relationship. And I don't necessarily think that a lot of players are looking to rip the hearts out of their friends, which I think is different from this generation compared to previous generations, because in my generation, I'm 40 years old. And I self-admittedly am more old school than I would say my contemporaries, people my age. But on a basketball court or a football field or a pool table or on a racetrack or any place that is deemed competition, or where competitiveness or competition can be displayed, I want to beat the dog shit out of all my friends, and I love them. And I think they want to beat the dog shit out of me as well, because that is That's just what it was in that generation. And I don't necessarily think that we get that in this generation. Um, so, those players on those teams and those other countries that haven't been uh, uh, inundated with social media and NILs and uh, boosters and coaches not letting them, or actually coaches letting them slide on defense and not actually know the game and the fundamentals and proper spacing and uh, offense, free flowing offense, player movement, body movement, things like that. Um, they're going to win. They're going to start winning. They're going to start beating us because with the US, we think that we show up to the gym with a USA jersey and everybody's supposed to bow down and, be scared of them. No, it's not the 92 Dream Team. No, them days is over. All these players, all those players in those countries have been playing basketball competitively. Look at the Dirks and the Lucas and the Jokic and the even Giannis. All those guys coming, the Tony Parkers, the Ginobilis, all those guys that play that FIFA basketball, FIFA basketball. They was playing competitive grown man basketball at like 13, 14 years old. They've been playing defense, hard defense, because if they didn't play defense, they wasn't going to see the court. It's not that star system that we got here. It's not coaches kid system that we got here. They really ain't like that in these other countries. Like, you got to bring it. And when they get here, they show out. I know it was a couple years ago against it was the Celtics against Toronto. This could have been when they were still in the bubble. And Toronto had a whole bunch of players from countries in Africa. I would call them Africans, but other countries, I know tribes, different places in Africa, they don't necessarily refer to themselves as Africans. They refer to themselves as their countries or their tribes. So I don't just want to say those Africans because they're different countries, different tribes and all that. But they was in our ass. And I was like, I don't know what's going on right now. They almost got us. I think it went to 7. But Toronto's about to they almost got us. And due to our own ineptitude, we got ourselves in the next round. So yeah, that's the story of the Celtics until this year. Woo woo, go Celtics, woo woo. But yeah, all this is just a larger, deeper, more contextual conversation. I would say more richer conversation that needs to be had about the downfall of American sports. And I think it parallels with the downfall of many other things in American society, which are seeing a downturn in, I guess, to say. But yeah. So we got men's basketball, we got WNBA, anything else going on in the world? Anything else going on in the world? What else going on in the sports world? It may come to me, but what I really want to do is this is for the wrestling fans, but this also is a larger conversation, more in the political realm. Um, I guess outside of the sports talk, this is the bull stuff. So we're going to talk about HULK Hogan at the RNC, which is the Republican National Convention. Mr. HULK Hogan, Terry Boulder, Terry something, Hollywood Hogan at the Republican National Convention. Isn't it funny that a pro wrestler is one of the headlining acts at the Republican National Convention? A pro wrestler. I just find that interesting. I just find it interesting. And not to say that uh, the Republican National Convention is any different than the Democratic National Convention, because I'm sure they'll have their celebrities and their stars at their convention. Let's see if Jim Crow Joe makes it, though. We'll see. But I think having Hulk Hogan at one of these national conventions for presidency or political office is very telling, because the more I know about the world, the more I know about how this whole thing operates and does this thing, you start to see parallels between politics and pro wrestling, which is very interesting. Very interesting. Um, and this is not going to be as political, because I want to focus on Hulk Hogan for a little bit. We're going to focus on Hulk Hogan, who has been, well, Hulk Hogan as a wrestler, because I am a wrestling fan, so I gotta talk about Hulk Hogan. And for the fans of wrestling, the real marks of wrestling, or the smart fans, smarks. They look at Hulk Hogan as he's glorified, over glorified. He's only there because he's 6'7", 6'8", and full of steroids. That could be, he's an impressive uh, person to look at. He will stand out in the airport. That and they criticize his work in the ring, as he was only boot to the mouth, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. But I will say Hulk Hogan was a better worker than people give him credit for. And as Hulkamania was running wild during the 80s, um, early 90s, the people that's what they wanted to see. Boot to the face, leg drop, couple one of these, and we done. That's what the people wanted to see. So Hulk Hogan was smart in that aspect, where he didn't uh, necessarily kill himself or damage his body too much. He made a very good living, a wonderful living, as a pro wrestler. Um, so what I'll say about Hulk Hogan is, as a pro wrestler, well, we gotta look into the politics of Hulk Hogan, because we have to look into the politics of Hulk Hogan and that entire when he left the WWF in what, 93, left the WWF in 93, and then he went to WCW, and the politics and what he did as a star, because Hulk Hogan was a household name at that time. And I guess celebrities um, require way better treatment than everybody else, I guess, or different treatment than everybody else. So there's a definite sense of entitlement. And a lot of WCW's downfall as a wrestling company, World Championship Wrestling, owned by Ted Turner and the Turner Corporation and all that. Um, a lot of the a lot of the demise of that company came from Hulk Hogan's creative control. So things in his contract and storylines of pro wrestling had to go a certain way, or he would not agree to it. And that the whole "this doesn't work for me, brother." That's where that thing comes from. So Hulk Hogan in the past has been known as someone who would jeopardize the business of the entire company for his own benefit. Um, and I'm not going to say that Hulk Hogan is the sole reason as to why WCW as a wrestling company failed, closed his doors. Not going to say it was solely because of Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan contributed a lot on the creative side of the board, I guess. So, when your top star, wants things to go a certain way, and also while your top star is holding down talent, younger talent, probably better in the ring, talent that can get over and could actually be on the level of a Hulk Hogan. It has been said that he, along with others of the top talent, held um, other wrestlers down and influenced the promoter or the creative team to go in different directions that would not be beneficial to other talent. So this is Hulk Hogan. And it's not just Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan was a very uh, influential politician, locker room politician in the 1990s, probably the 1980s as well. Listen to shoot interviews from different wrestlers, and I get my information from shoot interviews and different things that I watch. So I certainly do not have a firsthand perspective of Hulk Hogan. I don't know. Never seen him, never met him, never been to the same place as him. But I watched a lot of stuff, so I feel like I could talk with a level of you know, gravitas, maybe. I don't know. But and then when we also look into Hulk Hogan, uh, this guy's a huge liar. Uh, my mama told me I don't say liar, say fibber, but I'm grown, so Hulk Hogan's a liar, or a fibber, or someone who stretches the truth a bit. It has been said that, or he said, he's made some very wild claims about different things that have happened in the wrestling business. Um, there's so many claims that Hulk Hogan has made. There's different YouTube videos. You Google it, Hulk Hogan's lies, and I'm pretty sure there's a number of videos. But some of the things that pop into my head, um, in particular, are Hulk Hogan's claims that he like broke his back slamming, being the first person to slam Andre the Giant, messed up his back or something. But Hulk Hogan wasn't the first person to body slam the 600-pound on Andre the Giant, the way Hulk Hogan describes it. Um, no, different people slammed Andre before, but and he also didn't break his or hurt his back by slamming Andre. I'm sure he wrestled the next night or night after. Then there's this claim that he had like 500 matches in 1 year, and he wrestled. It's a claim that he wrestled like 400 nights a year, but it's only 365 nights. But he's talking about crossing to Japan and all. It's a bunch of crazy stuff. And there's one thing where what is this? The Survivor Series 1991. The immortal Hulk Hogan takes on The Undertaker for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Well, the Hulk Hogan was defending his World Wrestling Federation Championship against The Undertaker, who at that time was undefeated. And the finish was supposed to be Ric Flair comes out, distracts, Paul Bearer jumps in, something happens to Hogan. Uh, Flair puts the steel chair in the ring so the Undertaker could tombstone Hulk Hogan onto the chair. That's what happened. And I guess after the match, Hogan went up to Undertaker, was like, hey, I can't walk. Or it was something crazy, like that he really messed up his neck, his back, after the tombstone. And then when you go back and watch the you go watch the tombstone, he was totally protected. Like his head, neck didn't come close to the ground, didn't come close to the chair. And that's just one of many things that Hulk Hogan does not have a lot of credibility uh, with. Um, it's crazy, and how he's able to be at the Republican National Convention doing all this and wearing the Trump and Vance shirt and all that. Um, I mean, I know the parties and their conventions, they're not going to get the most upright, righteous people to go, because what we know about politics on both sides or all sides of the aisle is that it's a circus. And if you understand circuses, there's going to be clowns and there's going to be uh, ringleaders or ringmasters. It's going to be all sorts of, acts, all sorts of various forms of entertainment. And, you draw in different people to draw in different crowds. So, of course, the wrestling crowd is going to be drawn to Hulk Hogan. In the wrestling crowd, it gets a bad rap. It should get a bad rap because of the modern fan, because the modern fan is absolutely not all modern fans. I'm not going to say all modern fans, but a lot of the modern fans, they are, how would you say zombies who just go along with anything that is offered to them. Um, and I guess that draws a parallel to the rest of society, where you take uh, anything that is given to you and you'll like it and love it. So, hey, I guess that works for a lot of people. Um, doesn't necessarily work for me. Um, but those people with those mentalities will be drawn to things that not aren't necessarily going to benefit them. As far as mentally, physically, spiritually, uh, even on an entertainment value, just the way it is. At the start of this whole thing, I talked about the WNBA and the NBA All Star games and the competitiveness that once existed in the NBA game and the competitiveness that was displayed in yesterday's WNBA game, and how that will draw fans. It will draw eyes. It will be entertaining to people, to the masses. You know, bread and circus gotta entertain the people, right? Um, so when the entertainment is good, when it's riveting, the people will show. But when it's not, they won't. So as I go back to who am I going to? As I go back to Hulk Hogan, the people showed all the all my feeds, so like on the wrestling Twitter and wrestling Instagram, wrestling Facebook, they're all gung ho about it. Um, and they're all going to, maybe go to that side. And I am not here to uh, give my opinion on what side you should go to, because, in my opinion, both sides, same bird. Both wings, same bird. Left, right, same bird. So it really doesn't matter. But bread and circus, so you have to keep the people entertained. So as I talk about entertainment, going from Hulk Hogan and his past, because he Hulk Hogan is probably the wrestler that everyone would say they're the most prominent. He's the most prominent pro wrestler in the world in the last 40 years. So when people think of pro wrestling, they think of Hulk Hogan. Um, so he has a certain amount of clout, a certain amount of celebrity that comes with that. But as I said, left wing, right wing, uh, same bird. We also have to know that people will be used because of their celebrity to attract the masses, the followers, the people who have propelled ordinary men to idols. They will be used. And as I'm talking about idols, this bird is going to land soon because I don't have my water bottle next to me and I don't want to leave the people waiting. So as I begin to dismount, um, and as I speak about idols, there's one idol in particular that everybody is propping up right now. And I'm not going to spend a long time on this because I know that this may be sensitive information to some, to those with a willing ear and those who know what's going on out here. That'll sound just the way it's supposed to sound to them. But do I believe that what occurred last Saturday, I don't know the date, with the whole ear thing and all the luckiest glance to the right in the history of American politics. Since 1776, there hasn't been a look to the right that has saved someone's life, like what we seen, what we saw, what we witnessed on that fateful Saturday in Pennsylvania. Amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, it's on TV, so we gotta believe it. But what I will also say is, I saw DJT 45 on WrestleMania 4, WrestleMania 5. He was front and center watching Hulk Hogan. And then in the 2000s, DJT 45 had a match or an angle. He was involved in a huge angle. Huge angle. I can't do it like him. Huge angle. Huge. 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 Very huge. Very huge angle. I gotta get my Trump. I'm gonna get this Trump. Don't you worry. But huge angle with Vince McMahon, who's also in the news or has been in the news. There's a lot of pro wrestling going on. A lot of pro wrestling going on. I'm about to land this bird because I'm approaching 40 minutes, but I'm feeling good. But he was also involved in the world of pro wrestling. Also a reality TV star. So he's very well versed with positioning and props and all sorts of, you know, cues for productions and things like that. So all I'm gonna say is, as a 35-year-old, no, not 35, as a 40-year-old that has watched professional wrestling for 35 years of my life, can't believe everything that you see on TV. You cannot believe everything that you see on TV, even if it's constantly repeated over and over and over again. Even if you got reports of people saying this and people saying that, people doing this and people doing that, when it's on TV, it's just entertainment. And what do they need to do to keep the people entertained? stir up some shit, which is the essence of professional wrestling. Your greatest promos, your greatest angles, some of your greatest matches have all been chaotic, stirred up a lot of shit, and the crowd went fucking wild. And the viewers on TV land, in TV land, the viewers observing what was happening in the video scope, they were enthralled and certainly entertained. So as I leave you here with my first live ever, shit felt good. I felt comfortable. Let me know if anyone watches this what you think. Let me know if anything that I say resonated with you. Because I do have a unique perspective on things. Again, 35 years of watching pro wrestling and understanding, uh, the role of the booker, the role of the promoter, the role of the face, the role of the heel. Start to understand the world a little bit better. But on that note, I'm going to call it quits. I'm at 41, a little over 41 minutes. But this is D Davis, aka Mr. 360. And as I say, Mr. 360, those who are having issues, I offer 360 MBAA, which is mindset therapy, not therapy, mindset coaching. I don't do therapy. I'm not just someone that you want to talk to and kick it with. Tell me your problems. What I offer is mindset coaching. So we can talk about your problems, but as we're talking about your problems, I'm going to talk about solutions. And you need to talk about solutions, because if you're not making a conscious action in solving your problems, you are making unconscious actions to exacerbate those problems that you are currently experiencing. So, if you have any questions about that, go to 360mbaa.com. And I also do parental consulting for parents that may be having children who are experiencing behavioral issues at home or in school. 360mbaa.com is the place that you should go. Contact with me, set up some Zooms, set up a way to interact with each other through what we have been blessed with. This technology that we all have the power to reach and the power to teach. So with that being said, D Davis, 360 MBAA, sports talk and bull stuff. I felt like this was a good ass episode. Good ass episode. I'm about to be out, but I'm getting the hang of this, like of talking, not ranting, but being able to tie some things back into place. I ain't Skip Bayless. I ain't Stephen A. Smith. I ain't them people on ESPN and Fox and all these other things. I ain't got a producer in my ear telling me I got to do this, telling me I got to do that, giving me direction, live direction. But I feel that if I can do this by myself and produce content that is thought-provoking, somewhat insightful, I'm doing a damn good job. But hey, I'm out. Hopefully my lips ain't white. I ain't got stuff. Peace.